Good evening. Welcome to the Rebirth. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Shay Marriott.
And it's your boy Eli Isabel, aka the South. Got something to say. Happy Monday, partner.
Happy Monday.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm renewed, rebuild, and restored.
I heard that. I'm restored and I rebuild and I'm renewed.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
In that order. What's
Hey,
up, family?
I gotta do this. Period.
Listen, don't make me
Little
talk about that.
inside joke, guys. Little inside joke. How you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in.
Boycott hot dogs.
Oh my God.
That's all I'm saying. Say boycott hot dogs in Newcastle County.
Okay, guys.
Yes. Happy Monday. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Listen, if you have not already, please share the video right now. Please share right now. Like and share because someone needs to hear tonight's topic. And make sure that you are following us on all social media platforms at Rebirth You Podcast. All right. So what's going on? How was your weekend?
Hey, my weekend was awesome. Another great walk with the Hitchhikers group. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I'm still a little sore.
You know what I learned about you?
Don't watch it.
No, I'm saying you walk really fast. Was you like a power walker or something back in the day? I could see you back with Olivia Newton-John or somebody.
I could not say
You walk really fast. I was like, damn, Shay.
I was getting
out of here. Yeah.
I was getting it.
You passed by me. You know the noise I heard when you passed by me?
What was that?
Pew.
Oh,
you know, I like to see the caption pick that up.
Right. How about that? Yes.
No, but thank you for coming out, man.
You're absolutely right.
We're trying to grow this group and keep things going. I don't know. I'm on the air. People calling me. That's so crazy.
So people that are, just tuning in or may not have heard about what we're talking about, tell us a little bit about Hitchhikers, how they can follow you, and how they can join the next walk.
Hitchhikers is basically a group of people. So last year I had surgery on my hip. I used to be a runner my whole adult life. I'm no longer a runner now. So I am a walker. I used to despise walking, but I've learned to appreciate it because I'm not supposed to run anymore. So it's just an idea I had to bring people together to walk as a group for support, to motivate and encourage people, man. We're just going to have fun. We're going to beat our feet, get some miles in, take pictures, have a good time. And sometimes we will have adult beverages after we burn those calories to bring them back on.
What? I can make some lemon drops and bring them?
No.
Oh, you said adult beverages.
Okay, you can bring the lemon drop. I'm thinking of cold beer, but it's a lot of women in the group. So
oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm thinking you might want to have a little lemon drop. This bring the girly drinks. It's all good. And bring whatever Michelle likes to have. I want that too. Like when you don't come early. Bring some of that.
Got you covered.
All right, family. What's up, man? We got a great show for y'all tonight.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, I had the opportunity. Shout out to Sherelle Flagg. She had an amazing event this past weekend at the Chase Center. Pretty moody. It was hosted by Patty Jackson. And it was all menopause. Everything you needed to know about menopause. That definitely was the place to be. So make sure you guys follow her, prettymoody.com. Make sure you follow her because she's going to be doing some more events surrounding menopause.
Yes.
And we need to normalize this. We need to normalize having conversations surrounding menopause. So shout out to her for an awesome event.
And fellas, we need to listen because we are caught up in the matrix. When they're going through that, we don't know what to do.
Absolutely.
We don't know if to stay out the way, to hug you, to turn the heat down,
to massage us.
Yeah, and check your teeth, make sure they're not coming out. All kinds of things can happen during menopause, as I learned.
Yes.
So here we are. Yes.
Absolutely. So, every Monday, we got to find out what the South got to say.
All right, man. Thank you, Shay. Tonight's segment of What the South Got to Say. I wanted to touch on African Americans and Africans. Our brothers and sisters who have come to this country.
This is about to go left.
This is not going to go left. I just want to so I live, my neighbors to my left and to my right, it's an older African couple, and it's a single African man.
Sorry.
Right? No.
I can't take you serious right now. I just feel like it's about to go left. Go ahead.
Right. So my thing is, I want to figure out how to bond with them. But I'm just so annoyed And I don't want to be, but I just feel like when we talk, they always want to talk to me about my education level, where I went to school. Like, I don't know, why is it so important?
Are they Nigerians?
I didn't even get that far. I don't know. I can't understand them half the time. I'm still working through that process right there.
Okay.
However, very nice, but it's just like they really are interested in what I do, where I'm from, like what my education level is. And so now I figure I used to work with some African dudes back in the day, and there is an era of I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that happens too is because I think they feel that we've been in this country and we've squandered opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think them coming here and not living through what our people who were brought here against their will, I don't think they understand the I don't think they understand the psychological effects of that and how it's bothered us, how it's affected us as a community. So why are you looking at me like that? What do you want from my life right now?
No, I'm just.
So I feel like that they think that we are lazy, we're criminals.
Yeah.
All the stereotypes that they've
seen.
That
we're criminals, but go ahead.
Yeah, but if what you see on TV there, like how the ignorance is here, like what did they do us growing up? We saw our brothers and sisters over there with big bellies and flies around their mouth. That was the narrative that was pushed to us. We didn't know that there were cities like Nairobi, Kenya that look like New York City, like things that. So I think that there's a stereotype that has been cast upon them from over here and vice versa.
Right, I agree.
So when we try to bring that together, there's this air of division there, and I don't think we try to connect.
Yeah.
But also, I think there's an air of I'm better than you too. I always feel like that.
Yeah.
And you're not better than me. However, I think sometimes I feel that.
Who was you just talking to?
Any African who may be
watching. Lord, okay.
Any African who may be watching. But all of this to say that I want to try to figure out a way to bring us together because we're still all black.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I saw this thing on social media where it was talking to this black kid. This African kid. He was about 27, 28, educated. And they were interviewing him about his parents and family. And they said that would his parents be mad if we brought an American black girl home? And they was like, yeah, like they really wants to date white people.
Oh, you just threw me with that. Wow.
He said that they really, because they look at white as being better and they want to associate with whites. And I think because they don't look at us as their equals. So they view white people as their equals.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really, I have to show you this video.
Deep.
It's really fascinating. But yeah, like this really crazy. Like they are, I don't know if they're like checking me out to see if I'm some kind of criminal or I might do something to them or their property, but they always just want to know, well, what do you do? Like, what's your education? Like,
you never told them?
I know.
How do you skate around that question?
Just be like, I'm educated enough, you know. And here's the thing: I live in the same neighborhood as you. You live right by me, so they're really, what are we talking about here? But yeah, it's just a weird thing, the dynamics with them, my neighbors on either side, and me in the middle, being a country dude from Arkansas, these African.
You know who you should have a conversation with?
Who?
Jules. Morton, yeah. So she has her neighbors are African.
Okay.
And I want to say, I'm not for sure. I want to say they're from Nigeria.
Okay.
But what I do know about Nigeria, they are very high when it comes down to education.
Right.
And you know, it's very strong work ethic and all of that. So Julie might be a person to talk to because they definitely.
She gets along.
She does. They're always cooking her food.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it's good. She said it's really good. So,
I don't know. My neighbors be cooking sometimes.
It's either Nigeria or Ghana.
Yeah, I gotta let the window down. I don't want to smell that smell right there. I don't know what the hell they got going on in there.
Okay. Like, you know what? Anyway,
they're frying.
Not a baby giraffe.
But anyway, I want to figure out how to bring our people together, man. I said all that to say that. I want to bring us together.
And
this is what the South got to say. Yeah.
You ain't gonna bring them together talking about
even fully grown.
Fine, a baby giraffe.
What do they call a baby giraffe? Is it a cat?
I have no idea. That's a good question now.
I'm gonna ask my neighbor. Now I'm playing. All right. That's what the South got to say for tonight, y'all. Let's move right along. I think I just divided us even more, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Hopefully they're not watching this. So, speaking of our topic, because you might have to rebound after an unexpected crisis with your neighbors. Right, exactly. Tonight, we are going to be talking to Lisa Savage
Yes.
about rebounding after an unexpected crisis. Lisa is the owner and operator of the Center for Child Development and Delaware Center for Counseling and Wellness. She is also the owner of Clinicians of Color, which is a directory that is on social media that houses over 20,000 therapists of color all across the world. So I'm so honored to have her on the Rebirth because she is also my boss lady.
All
Welcome
right.
to the Rebirth, Miss Lisa Savage.
Hey, folks. I was backstage cracking up.
Oh, you can hear all that?
I sure could.
You know, I can't with him with this baby giraffe. But anyway, how are you, Lisa?
I am good. I am so glad to be with the two of you tonight. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes, yes. We're so excited about this topic because I think that these are skills that people, period, regardless of what the crisis is, that they can take
Yep.
away some of these skills that we're going to be talking about tonight. So before we get into it, I know I gave your introduction, but could you just let everybody know a little bit about yourself and how amazing you are? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, God, thank you, Shay. So, like you said, my name is Lisa Savage. I am a clinical social worker. I'm the founder of the Center for Child Development. I have a passion for working with marginalized communities. My priority is always going to be with Black and Brown communities. And I'm also an advocate for Black and Brown mental health professionals. So, in a nutshell, that is who I am and what I do. And it's my passion. It's my life's passion.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And Lisa, what actually started you? What made you want to be a social worker?
Oh, that's such a good question because it changes often. But I do think that the ability, I think when I realized the ability that a social worker had to be able to affect change on a micro level and then a macro level, I knew that was where I needed to be. I had no idea when I first entered the field where I would end up. But I think I'm in the right place where I should be, because it gives me an opportunity to do clinical work, but also I have the opportunity to also affect change. And that's how I use my power and privilege.
Lisa, I remember in grad school, one of the things that I took away out of everything that I learned, I had Dr. Cooper, Dr. Richard Cooper, shout out to him. He was my one of my professors. And one of the things that he said to me, he said, don't ever let anybody tell you you cannot make money as a social worker. And he said, you have to know how to market yourself. If I learned anything else in grad school, I knew that, right?
It's a whole word.
Right. And that's just something that always stuck with me because I love the work. I love doing the work, and it's effortless because it's a passion. But it helps to be able to make money at it, make a nice living doing it as
Absolutely.
well,
Absolutely.
And I think that this is our call to action because we need more Black and Brown social workers, especially males.
Yep.
Especially males.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So Black and Brown social workers make up only 4% of all mental health professionals in this country. 4%. So Shay, you and I and Eli, we are amongst a very elite group of people. And that has to change. So unless some systems change to make that possible, it's going to look pretty bleak as we move forward and the need for mental health services continues to increase.
Yeah, definitely.
So Lisa, what percentage of that would you say are Black men?
Oh, probably, maybe 1% is very, very small.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Me and Dr. Umar is all we got. What you trying to tell me? I mean, I ain't got no school now, Lisa, but I'm out here trying to make a difference.
You ain't got no soul either. But
Oh, did you?
go ahead.
You get him on the show.
Yeah, we desperately need more people to get in this field that look like us.
Yeah.
It's important,
Yes,
especially
absolutely.
males.
And I like your
Yeah.
point, Shay, about that you can be a social worker but not have to be poor. So I think a lot of times people think that when they go into social work, they're kind of signing up to be poor and live a life of poverty. That's not really true. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to come out of grad school making six figures. That's probably not realistic for most people these days. But it does mean that with some creativity and some initiative, you can absolutely make really good money being a social worker.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. So tonight's topic, I know that this is something that we are currently going through, and a lot of practices are going through. A lot of medical doctors is probably going through as well because of the recent
Yeah.
cyber attack. But we're talking tonight about rebounding, how to rebound after
Yeah.
we're hit with a crisis, regardless of what that crisis may be.
Yeah. Yeah. So exactly a month ago, there was this huge cyber attack on one of the most major health companies in this country. In fact, this
Mhm.
company is one of the 12th largest companies in the world. And this company has its fingers in most of healthcare in this country. So anybody who's involved in healthcare, whether or not it's a professional or a system or even consumers, have had some
Yeah.
interaction with this health company, whether or not we know it or not. So the company was attacked, and which meant that those of us who are mental health providers, healthcare providers, pharmacists, could not do transactions that we typically do that are electronic. So what that means, particularly for us, is that it stopped the ability for us to get paid. So
Right.
what happens that often people don't realize is when you see a doctor or a mental health professional, there is a claim that is generated. That claim goes on to a clearinghouse, which scrubs the claim. In other words, it makes sure that the claim has everything that it needs before it gets sent over to the insurance company. So this company that was attacked is the clearinghouse, at least for us. They do other things, but for us, our purposes, meaning our practice, Shy, they got cyber attacked, and we could not get claims to the insurance company. And then there just were not any easy fixes. So for a week, nobody was really saying anything about, okay, here's a fix. And I'm talking insurance companies weren't saying anything. The company that got hacked itself wasn't saying anything. The electronic health records that we use wasn't saying anything. So we were left kind of to figure this all out on our own.
Right.
And it was quite devastating and quite stressful. I've spent time talking to lots of other mental health professionals across the country because most of us are impacted by this cyber attack and the ability to get paid. So it did throw us into a crisis. It threw um, all of healthcare into a crisis, but on a personal level, it threw Center for Child Development into a significant crisis.
Right.
So we had to make some tough decisions. Now, we didn't have to lay anybody off, but we did have to delay people getting paid because we were
Hmm.
still scrambling, trying to figure out how do we get these claims to the insurance company when there was just no easy electronic way to get the
Yeah.
claims processed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One of the things
devastating.
I have to say, in regards to your leadership, through
Hmm.
this all, is you were very transparent, even when it was hard, because that's the
Yeah,
hardest thing to tell somebody they're not going to get paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
yeah,
hardest thing. And
yeah.
so, and I know, because we are very close, I know the amount of stress that was on you, that has been
Hmm.
on everybody that has been trying to do these claims manually and get everybody paid, and we are very grateful for that.
Right.
But how do you navigate something like this? You know what I'm saying? Because as the
Yeah.
owner, as the leader, it's like you don't get a chance to crash. You don't get a chance to lose it or to fall apart because
Right.
you have a team you got to lead and you got to figure this thing out. So what did you
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
to be able, I mean, share that with us, what the things and the steps that you did
Yeah.
to be able to,
Well, it
move
wasn't
this
easy and
forward.
it wasn't pretty. It wasn't easy and it wasn't pretty. But I knew the point at which I had to tell our staff that their pays were going to be delayed. I knew that I had to have a very clear explanation for what was going on because Jay, you and I know what happens behind the scenes because we're both
Yeah.
on the executive team. But other people who work for us don't know. They just know that they see a
Yeah.
client, they get paid. So they don't understand all of the work that goes into making it happen and how we've never missed a beat, we stayed on track. But this was a really bad crisis. Our payroll
Mhm.
is very, very high. And there's no way that anybody, I shouldn't say anybody, but there's no way that we could reasonably have kept the amount of money in a savings account to be able to pull from that to pay people. There was just no way. Our
Right.
payroll is just too high. So immediately went into fact finding. That was the first thing because I knew I had to focus on the facts to be able to share with our staff. So that also helped me as well was to be able to look at the
Mhm.
facts because what that did was help me to understand how I was powerless in all of this as well. Those of us who are
Mm,
social workers are used to fixing things. This was not something
right.
that any of us could fix. And so being able to step outside of that role as a fixer, a helper, and focus on the facts and reminding myself that this was an issue that was huge, that I had
Yeah.
zero control over. But I was going to have to figure out how to navigate. I've never faced a crisis like this since I've been in business. COVID was way more easier than dealing with this issue.
Right.
So,
Right.
some of the things that I did to cope was I stayed up to date on what was going on, and I continued to stay up to date. Then I started recognizing that um, what power I did have and how I was going to use that power. And the power that I did
Mm,
have was to be able to reach out to insurance companies, to the governor's office, to our congresswoman's office, to the head of Medicaid, and say, we need help and we need it now. And that was, I think, empowering to me to be able to do those things. Now, did it result
mhm.
in much? Not really. But
Mhm.
it was
Mhm.
what I could do. Like I knew that I could do that. Then I started exploring options for getting claims to the insurance companies and found a great option. And I found it in a Facebook group. So I collaborated with our staff who does the billing and said, let's try this system. And while it's still not easy and it's very time consuming because they're literally manually entering in one claim at a
Right. Right.
time.
Yeah. So not.
And last week we saw over 1,000 clients. That's
Mhm.
over 1,000 claims that have to be
Please.
manually entered into the system.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
challenging.
And how long does it take each claim to be manually entered? Would you say
15 minutes each.
15 minutes each?
Wow.
And we're talking about 1,000
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
At
a
least,
lot.
Mhm.
is this pretty much like we're on a downslope of this? Are we kind of getting it squared away for the most part?
You know what, Eli? I wish I could say we are, but this is what, and as recently as today, I read an article about this, and they're pretty much saying manage your expectations, man, because
Mm,
the complicity of the complication of this issue is huge because this company is so big. The servers and the connections and the procedures and making sure that the hackers didn't leave behind any poison pills. So they got to make sure
mm,
all of that is taken care of.
Mhm.
So interestingly, the CEO of Optum, which is the parent company of Change Health, reached out to me because I was ranting on social media. That was
Right.
also how I coped as well, Seamus. I
I
was
saw
on
you. I saw
every
you.
social.
Listen.
I'm just I mean, I was calling out people, ranting, and he reached out to me. Somehow he came across one of my posts. I guess he was like, let me reach out to this Black woman because she's mad. So he did. And, and again, that was kind of another place where I put my frustration was, this is some power that I have. Like I have a social media audience. I'm going to use my voice and I'm going to reach out. So I met with him, me and Kim from Clinicians of Color. And while this man was very empathic and he seemed very sincere, all I could think was during this interview, you probably make $15 million a year. You're getting paid this week. You could give us $1 million and it wouldn't even set you back. That's all I could think about. So at the end of the day, I appreciate him reaching out, but you know what? It just wasn't enough. And so they have this loan program where they're offering people loans, right? So I'm of two minds with the loan. One, I'm not going to take the loan because you got to pay it back, right? So we take the loan, and in 30 days, come on, now how's that really helping me, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If they offer grants, which they can very well afford to do, they can offer a grant,
right?
So I'm going to rob Peter to pay Paul. Make it make sense. Come on, y'all. So I'm not going to take the loan.
I hope that whatever has to happen happens because I helped Shay with her light bill, and I need that to get squared away. And I'm gonna tell you, Lisa, there's 4 people in the house, and I don't know why the light bill's so high. I'm like, they must have their heat on with the windows up. Like, what is going on right here?
So,
but wait, one thing about me, I'm gonna make sure Shay is taken care of, Eli.
Yeah, okay, all right. I need that 600 back for that light bill. I swear the heat on 80 and the windows open.
Just random. You never know what's gonna come out his mouth.
We'll help you though,
I know that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. One of the things that what you said was, you said, and I think this is really important. You said, I felt helpless. I didn't really know what to do, but then I used what I had, and I have a following. I have connections, and I took to that, and I start calling, and I start, putting messages out there, and it's power in numbers, right? It's power in numbers. You have the Clinicians of Color that you built from the ground, which is over 20,000 members. It's probably more than that now. And you start putting posts out there and having meetings and Zoom meetings. And that's what social workers do, right? Because overall, it's about social justice. That's what we do. So when people think they are powerless, right? And I want you to speak on that, because sometimes we feel helpless in situations. We feel helpless when crisis come knocking at our door. And it's like, well, what do I do? And some people just give into it. They just bow down to it, but you didn't do that. So can you talk about how it's important to be able to use what you have? And sometimes what you have could possibly be enough, or at least will get you to the next place where you need to go.
Exactly, Shay. And so that's what I focused on. I focused on what I had. So I didn't have $150,000 sitting in the bank account that I could pull out and pay people, but I had my mouth, I had the power. And I think the other important issue here is not being afraid to use what you have. Not being afraid. I know people who are terrified at the thought of advocating or speaking out against injustices. I'm not afraid of that. Like, that doesn't scare me at all. And so once I realized that I don't have anything to lose by speaking up, by speaking out, then I was able to really just amplify my voice and go on every social media, go on the news, called reporters, had reporters calling me, and using my voice and not being afraid. But I want to also emphasize that you can be afraid, but also You can use your voice, you can use your power. You can also still be afraid, right? Like the fear doesn't necessarily leave you, because believe me, my anxiety was off the hook. But every day I woke up and I had a strategy in my mind. How am I going to get through this day? What can I do today that will advance this issue? And that's what I focused on, right? It didn't mean that it was complete absence of fear, complete absence of anxiety. Despite the anxiety and the fear,
Yep.
I knew I still had to keep pressing on and figuring out how I was going to manage this crisis. I mean, I would never ever underestimate the power of friends either. Being able to
Yeah.
text somebody and say, "Girl, I'm about ready to go off on these people,"
Right.
because I know I sent that message quite a few times.
Right.
But
Right.
the
Exactly.
power of connection, and
Yeah.
having people that will reach out to you and, "Hey, you okay today? Or did you get enough rest? Are you exexercising?" That's important.
Self-care. Yep.
So
Yep.
yes, and having those
Did you
people around
breathe?
you.
Did you breathe today?
Exactly. Because sometimes it's just as basic as that. Did you breathe
Yeah.
today?
Wow.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
also I knew I needed to work out. That's the only way that I can relieve my body of the stress. So I was on my treadmill. I was
Mm.
working out with my trainer. I haven't missed a step, because you do worry about the impact of all this stress on you physically. So I knew
Yeah.
that I needed to do some things to counteract it. That was also, the whole mind body connection. Like if I take care of my body, my mind's going to respond accordingly. So those are some of the other things that I did to cope. But the important message is calling on what strengths you have, remembering you have some strengths, even if you don't realize that you do. You do.
Absolutely.
Um, and not being afraid to use what you have, being okay with the fear. Like the fear
Mm-hmm.
may still be there, but taking
Mm-hmm.
some chances and reaching out. I mean, when I'm in a crisis like that, I go right to the top. I went to the head of Medicaid. I called the governor's office.
Yeah.
I
Right.
met with the CEO of Optum. And yeah, these are things that are, sometimes they can create some anxiety within you, but they're also the things that you can do, the things that are within
Yeah.
your reach. And you got to use whatever's within your reach, as long
Absolutely.
as it's not a
Yeah.
baseball bat.
Right. Exactly. Eli.
Yeah, we're going, Lisa, you went to the top. I'm going to violence. So I have a question for you. So, what advice would you give maybe a small business owner who may have a payroll issue for whatever reason they're not able to pay their employees and may not have you have a certain amount of cachet. So there are people that you can call on and vent to or maybe get the ball moving. But what would you say to a smaller business owner who may experience something
Yeah.
similar?
Yeah, so find your support group. Find your people. So Facebook, there's tons and tons of groups for people who are mental health professionals or other business. In this instance, there's tons of therapist group. That's kind of where I found my people, because they're all
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the same thing. We're all in the same stinking ship, so to
Yeah.
speak. And so that was
Yeah.
so helpful to me to be able to reach out to that group. It was also how I found out about this other clearinghouse that we could submit claims to. It was in a Facebook group. So being able to find your people, and of course, this day and age, we're all connected on the internet, is very helpful. I love TikTok, so I'm making my TikTok videos.
Yes, you do.
And that draws people in, and people will share your content, which
Yeah.
validates that what you're saying is of some importance to people. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would encourage people to do. I would also encourage people to reach out to their politicians and let them know, hey,
Mm-hmm.
my business may go under if I don't get some reimbursement within the next week or so. And there's some
Mhm.
people who are in that position.
Yeah,
We're
Yeah.
that's
not going
sad
to go
too.
under.
Very sad.
It's
Thank you,
very
Lord.
sad. It's very
Wow.
sad. So
Yeah.
clinicians of color, literally, we were on a call last week, and this one woman whom I've known, she's in Connecticut. She's got a small practice, and she said, "I'm not going to be able to make my payroll." So Kim and I were like, you know what? We got $3,000 sitting over here in this account. Let's just give her this money.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. We gave her three
Wow.
Wow.
thousand
Wow.
dollars. Yeah, yeah. So sometimes sharing your story is important, because you never know who's listening. You never know who is on the
Absolutely.
other side,
Wow.
who cares, who, that is going to get her a lot closer to her payroll. Actually, she did say that would help her to
Yeah.
meet her payroll. and she could sleep better at night. So you never know. So share your story. Find your people who are going through something similar and share your story. You never know who is going to hear and who might be able to help you.
Yeah. And I have to personally say, because again, this is not just a regular interview. Lisa is like a sister to me, and I know her heart.
Yeah.
And what she has done, what she did for this lady, Lisa does all the time. This is not
Thank you, Shay.
a one-off.
Yeah.
She does this all
Thank
the
you,
time.
Shay.
That's just the type of person she is. That's the type of heart that she has. And that's why I know that we're going to be fine, because I truly believe that God has favor over you. Because of what you do so much for others and their families. Not just the person, but and their families. So
thank you for saying that, Shay.
It's an honor. But that's what a leader is, right?
Yeah,
that is what a leader is. So I thank you for that. Thank you for your advocacy. I know it's been a lot. I know, because we've talked, but I think the biggest piece of this is your transparency about what is happening. You were very clear, very detailed about what's happening. When people understand, when they have the information, then it's up to them what they do with it. Right? But if you come off if you come off lying or trying to hide the truth, then you're going to lose the people, right? But because you were very transparent and you led us through this situation like a leader should, and how you did it, your team stood behind you, and a lot of people were understanding. And if those that were not understanding, you already know. Let me know.
Oh boy. Oh boy. They got a violin coming out. Y'all got to take the violin away.
God's still working on me.
Take the violin away.
Shoot me an email, Lisa. You know I got you. I handle
it. I know you will.
Wow.
That's how we roll.
That's right.
I've always had much respect for you, but just hearing how you helped the lady in Connecticut or wherever she was from, like that's such a dope thing. And to see Black women supporting, I don't know if she was Black, but to see women supporting other women, that's just phenomenal, man. So I definitely applaud you. And so listen, I said all I can say.
Here we go. You know it's gonna go last. It's gonna go last.
Lisa, you like to invest in people. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to get in on the ground floor of my business.
Oh shoot.
I'm starting a kennel, and we're only raising dogs that hunt raccoons. So if you want to get in on this, it's a major thing. If you want to get in on the ground floor, somebody wants to have Uber. I'm just telling you now.
I would take a chance on you, Eli. I would.
She don't believe in me. I've got to pay her Olympic bills. She still don't believe in me.
Anyway, Lisa, to wrap up, like you said, you were recently on Fox News, right? Was it Fox Atlanta? Was it?
Yeah, it was Atlanta Fox.
Wow.
Yes. So you're out there doing the work. You know what I'm saying? You know how people be like, I'm doing this. No, you stop lying. You're not doing that. You are actually out there doing the work, doing what you need to do.
Trying, girl.
So before we wrap up, can we get 3 tips? What are 3 walkaways that people can take to say that if I'm going through a crisis, these are 3 things that I definitely need to apply?
Yep. So 1, doing what you can do, even if you're afraid, owning that anxiety, experiencing it, but try not to let it paralyze you. So that's one thing. Using whatever resources that you have, reaching out to people who might know somebody who could help you. That's really important. And not taking, what other people feel personally. Because I did have to deal with some people who were not very happy about having their pay delayed. They did get paid, but it was delayed. And so not taking that personally. I also think, Shay, the point about just being completely transparent about what you're dealing with and being upfront about that is extremely important too. And then the last thing is make sure you're taking care of yourself. because the stress is very real. It's going to land within your body someplace. So for me, working out, and every night before I go to sleep, and every morning, I check in with myself. I'm checking in before I pick up my phone. I check in with myself to ask myself, what are you feeling right now? What do you need right now? And then I do some breathing exercises. Those are just some practical things that I have been doing through this crisis to kind of manage some of the stress and the worry. I want to emphasize not taking things personally that your employees may say to you, because it's not personal. It's really about what's going on with them. So those are my takeaways. Again, I'm not saying any of this is easy, because it's not.
Yeah.
But it's possible. It is absolutely possible to survive it. And here I am sitting here a month later, and I can still laugh, and and I also have the hope that we're going to get through it. It's going to be a while, but we're all going to get through this.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will, because we have an awesome leader. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Shay. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, because you know what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt. But again, and I have to say, those of you who have never met Lisa only stands probably about 4 feet.
You've been talking to my husband.
But theoretically,
she's a giant.
Yes.
She is a giant at what she does. Very, very, very respected and very resourceful, and she gets it done. So I say all of that to say that sometimes we may think that we're not enough, or people are not going to listen to us, or we don't have what it takes to get it done. However it is that we may view ourselves. But here's this woman, she, and I don't even know what your real height is, Lisa, but Lisa is very tall. You 5 feet?
Give her all of that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You gave her little arms and everything.
Whatever. Anyway.
Her arms are normal.
You ain't right.
Anyway, she's very, very powerful, right? So, I just want to share that, because I think that sometimes we think we're not enough, but we don't have what it takes, based off of whatever our experiences are or whatever. But Lisa, you are a force to be,
absolutely,
you definitely are.
Thank you.
It's definitely a pleasure, and I know that we're going to be fine, and I hope people listen and take heed to the tips that you're sharing, because they do work, So again, thank you for the advocacy. Thank you for the transparency. Thank you for all that you do. I love you. I love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
Lisa, thank you for getting Shay together. When I met her some 12, 13 years ago, she was billing for hours that she didn't see the client. You have to help her get her life together. Thank you for that, Lisa.
You could never convince me of that.
Say that again, please.
You could never convince me of that. Shay has the highest level of integrity of anybody that I know.
Thank you.
Lisa, you didn't know it in 2010. No, I'm kidding, everybody. I'm just joking. This is my girl. She's full of integrity. That's why I hang with her. I'm trying to let it rub off on me.
Thank you, Lisa, so much. Thank you for doing
my pleasure, guys.
We love you. And however we can support, please let us know, because we're whatever we need to do, we got you.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you both so much.
You're welcome,
Thank you, Lisa.
Have a good night. Thank you.
You too. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. That's awesome, guys. So there you have it. That was Lisa Savage. She's doing it. She's making moves, and I know that we're going to get through this. A lot of businesses, I just want to emphasize, a lot of businesses have shut down their practices because of this. So this is something serious. I wanted to bring it to the platform of Rebirth, because that we are both mental health therapists, and we are mental health advocates.
Right.
And whatever we can do to get the word out there for change, we are going to do that.
Yes.
So
let's continue to support good people that are doing good work in the community, even through their hard times. Lisa's a prime example of that. You guys have hung in there with her, supported her, and here we are.
Yep, absolutely. So again, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Rebirth U, the letter U podcast. Okay, Rebirth U podcast. Also, if you want a recap of the shows or the shows that we've done in the past, go to any podcast platform, iHeart, Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast, you will find Rebirth there. So we have some great things coming up as well. We got a Rebirth Live coming up soon, summer of 2024. We will be announcing the date soon. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you follow us. The South got something to say. Make sure you follow him on Instagram.
Absolutely.
And Hitchhikers, right?
Yes. Join the group. Look us up on Facebook, man. Yep. Come meet us Saturday. Let's get a walk in.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. Thank you so much for your support. Y'all have a blessed night.